going on, Team Icon? Welcome to another live stream. It's Coach Cruz coming at you live. Some deep thoughts today. Sorry, I feel like I'm always fixing my ponytail at the start of these lives, but my hair is getting a little out of control. It is very long, but that's besides the fact. So today I'm going to talk about the correlation between confidence and commitment, or commitment and confidence. And this is kind of something that I have figured out in my life, actually multiple times, but it wasn't until I'd say the past 3 years that I really started to put it into play in my life, right? And I really started to notice and track kind of the waves. You know what I mean? I was tracking the data as to what would happen when I followed through with all of the commitments that I made to myself. And I want to start off the live by taking you guys back to the last time you told yourself you were going to do something, big or small, and failed to do it. And that could be something as simple as making your bed, right? Because this is something that I was actually notorious for in my earlier years, I'd say early to mid 20s. It was something that for some reason, I always told myself that I was going to make my bed in the morning. And I would say 4 out of 7 days, I would not make my bed. And I didn't really notice the profound effect that it had on my own self-confidence. Now, a lot of people kind of think that I'm a very extroverted person because, I'm easy to talk to. I'm very interactive with other people, right? I'm pretty outgoing. But the secret is I'm actually very introverted, okay? So this is something that's kind of it's a skill that's been forged over the years. And, I've actually been able to magnify this skill through following through with all my commitments that I make to myself, right? And now, why is it important to follow through with all of your commitments, and how does it actually directly correlate with your confidence? Well, all of the little commitments that you make throughout the day, making your bed, putting away the dishes, cleaning up the house, dressing a certain way, or putting out your clothes the night before, so that you're prepared and ready to go, waking up at a certain time, following a certain meal plan, hitting your workout for the day, doing your cardio, your steps, all of these little things, okay? All of these little commitments are actually potential wins. So what happens is, from the point that you wake up to the point that you go to bed, all of these small little commitments either stack up as wins or as losses, right? And I think having the self-awareness and knowing that each individual commitment, no matter how big or small, okay, is a potential win, is going to serve you so well. Because once you start realizing that, I promise you're not going to make as many commitments to yourself as you might do now, right? And that sounds a little counterintuitive, but I've come to find in my own personal life on a day-to-day basis, I cannot take care of more than 5 critical tasks throughout the day. So that's something that obviously I have other tasks throughout the day. I have a lot of shit to do. I'm a parent, I'm a business owner, I'm a coach, I'm a partner, you know what I mean? I'm a son. There's a lot of things that I have to do, but 5 critical tasks that it's kind of my power list, right? These are the 5 things that I put down, on my calendar, my schedule, that I have to do. They're non-negotiables, right? And what I'm trying to say here is that when you stack on too many things throughout the day, too many to-dos on your to-do list, it can start to overwhelm you, right? And when you start to do that, you start to fall short of all of your little commitments throughout the day. Now, I want to take you guys down memory lane, back to a very low point in my life. This was after my most recent relationship to Kara, because I've been with Kara for about 8 years now. Don't quote me on it, but I believe it's been about 8 years, so we're coming on a decade. But my relationship before that was actually very toxic. I won't go into details, but it left me broken, Okay. Now, I was single for 6 years after that relationship. And there was a long period of time, I would say about a year, close to a year, okay, where I just refused to make any sort of commitments outside of like, getting up, going to work, coming home. And that was it. That was the only real commitment that I made. And it was more so because I had to pay bills, right? At a very young age, I was forced to actually not fend for myself, but, contribute to the household to make sure that, we had a roof over our heads and food on the table. But I'm talking about this because in the time, right, when I was actually going through this time frame, it didn't occur to me, right, what I was actually doing. But I was giving myself a reset because my confidence was at an all-time low. And I just didn't have the confidence in myself to actually commit to anything, right? And every single time that I would try, I would fall short. Even if it was something as simple as, telling a friend I was going to go to get coffee with them or go out to eat with them, I would find myself getting into my own head and not doing it, right? Talking myself out of it. But what I've learned now, fast forward, over a decade, I've learned that was actually my way of resetting my confidence because I knew I was at an all-time low. I wasn't in a position to really, put myself out there and commit to anything, really. So I spent about a year of just mindlessly kind of going through life, but I do strongly believe that I needed that because after that year, that's when I started to get back into the gym. I started to pursue different types of endeavors and started to get back on my feet, right? But at that point, the most crucial thing leading up to where I'm at now was the commitments that I made to myself. And that was, the small things, right? The small things of okay, I'm going to wake up at 7 a.m. It started at 7 a.m. And that was very hard for me, which it's funny because now I'm back at that reset, right? I've been waking up at 7 a.m. because that's kind of what's feasible to my schedule now that we've moved. But it started at 7 a.m. Then it went to 6:30. Then it went to 6 a.m. Stayed at 6 a.m. for a very long time. Then, I pushed it down to 5:30. And then 5 o'clock. And then this is over a course of like a decade, right? But I got to the point that just before we made the move, I was consistently waking up at 4:30 to 5 o'clock in the morning. But that was because I was following through with my small commitment of waking up at a certain time. And then I'd incrementally, over a period of months and years, start to kind of lessen, or actually make it earlier, right? But my point in saying this is that over a long enough time horizon, if you keep your commitments to yourself, you will constantly stack wins. And when you are in congruence or in alignment with the things that you're telling yourself to do, you're going to do, and you're actually doing them, it builds confidence, right? And I made a piece of content around this the other week, I think it was last week, about how, something as simple as not hitting the snooze button is building your confidence, right? And this is something that I think is very overlooked in today's society, especially with, the rise in mental health issues and just secludedness and loneliness and this type of lifestyle that we lead now, where everything is very digital, it's very accessible. I think it's very, very, very imperative that we keep all of the commitments we make to ourselves, small or big, right? And sometimes that means you need to reset. If you got a million things on your plate right now and you're trying to do everything for everyone, then maybe you need to hard stop, okay? Really sift through your schedule, through your life, and see what are the bare necessities I need for me right now. And then commit to those and stick to those commitments. Follow through with those commitments on a day-to-day basis. And you will notice after a week, you gain more confidence. After, a month, you will gain even more confidence. After months, years, it starts to compound. It is a compounding effect. And the more you can trust yourself, the better you will be at putting yourself out there and actually being able to accept opportunities that come your way. Okay? And yeah, so that's basically it in a nutshell. I hope I didn't rant too much. I hope I got my point across, but that is essentially what I wanted to talk about today. And, again, the smallest commitments make the biggest difference on a long enough time horizon. And you just need to give yourself grace and really realign and focus on what matters the most for you. Okay? What matters the most for you. Write those things down And it might be something that seems very silly and minuscule if you're just mapping out kind of your day-to-day and your commitments that you have to make to yourself on a day-to-day basis. But trust me, that is the foundation of which everything is built on. And the second you can actually get those in line, in check, and continuously, hit them, knock them over every single day. Obviously, there's going to be speed bumps, there's going to be hurdles, there's going to be valleys, but the more you can set the foundation very strong in your own commitments to yourself, not to anybody else, the more confidence you will gain over time. And, I'm a strong believer as well, to kind of like side quest here, that I'm a strong believer that in order to love another human being, you have to first be able to love yourself. Okay? And loving yourself means following through with all the commitments you make to yourself, small or big. So for those of you that tuned in live, God bless you. For the rest of you, I hope you catch this replay, because this one was really from the heart, and it's something that I personally struggled with for years. Okay? I struggled with this for years, and even to this day, like I fall off my routine. But at this point now, it's, my self-awareness is through the roof. I know when I'm messing up. I know. And I'm completely aware. I take full accountability. I take full responsibility for when my confidence starts to dip. And I ultimately know that, when I'm kind of spiraling a little bit and allowing everything to fall off of the hinges, it's up to me to get myself back up. I'm not seeking for external motivation or, inspiration, although sometimes it does come, which is a great thing. Like I surround myself with positive people, and I consume a lot of positive things, whether it be food, music, podcasts, tones, right? Like frequencies. Those are the things, yeah, of course, I surround myself with. But at the end of the day, I know it's me. All the choices that I make and the commitments that I either follow through with or fall short of. Okay? So, Coach is logging off because it's dinner time and I still have quite a bit of work to do. I hope you guys have all booked your check-ins for tomorrow or Monday. But for now, peace, love, and all the protons. May the gains be with you.